What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, me and Kirky. Today's video, it is a beautiful, beautiful day out here in the A. Not just because of the beautiful weather, but because today is the day that we are finally getting rid of these tires. If you haven't seen my last video, check it out, all right? They're done, all right? They're literally done. You'll see if you look at the last video. But anyway, we have to go because we have an appointment today, so grab your car keys. Let's roll. All right, so we did a poll. Let me turn it down. I did a poll to find out what you guys thought was the best tire to get, best all-terrain tire, and number one on the list was the Toyo Open Country AT3s. All right, that was number one. Second was actually the Nitto Ridge Grapples. I'll put the rest of the top five on the screen right here. Whoa. And whoa. And whoa. Is that a rainbow? It is. Anyway, we are back at the house. And let me show you what we got. You already saw it anyway at the tire shop. So we have the brand new BFGoodrich KO3s. We stuck with all-terrains because we need all-terrains, all right? And I love the way all-terrains look. This tire looks incredible. Now, there's so many details on this tire that I would love to point out, but like I said, these are the new KO3s. They came out last year, and they only had them in select sizes, from what I'm being told. And this was actually, we'll get to that in just a second, but they only had them in select sizes, and I believe they're coming out with a ton of new sizes coming up next month, actually. So keep in mind, if you look for tires, I highly recommend the BFGoodrich KO3s. Now, we just left the tire shop, and we just left, but these tires are so quiet. They're super quiet. You can't hear a thing. They're quiet. They're smooth. We went over bumps and stuff in the road. Couldn't feel a thing. It literally went over like a cloud. And I'm not kidding. Like I say, they're brand new, so take that with a grain of salt. But they're definitely smooth. Now, I'm also coming from those tires. I'm not even gonna name the tires. I'm coming from those, and which was, you know, all the issues I had with those tires. If you didn't see it, check out the old video. You know the issues I had with those tires. But these tires, they ride incredible. I don't know. I don't know what to say. BFGoodrich KO3s. Now, this is the new tire to the BFGoodrich KO2s that were very popular. They were out for a very long time, and they finally did an update to the KO3s. Now, if you were keeping up with the last video, these tires were actually not on the list. I had a whole list of tires that I was planning on, that I was looking into. I'm not gonna name them because it's too much to go through, but I had a list of tires, and these were actually not on the list. I did have the KO2s as the honorable mention tire that I was actually somewhat considering. But when I found out about the KO3s and I started doing research and watching other people's videos and all the reviews on the KO3s, I figured that might be a good option to get the KO3s. And a lot of you guys actually suggested the KO3s as well. So thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so let's dive in a little bit because there's so much to look at on this tire. You have your BFGoodrich logo there. You have all-terrain, TA up there. You have KO3, your marker right there. These are low-range E-tires, as you can see. It also has Baja Champion here. I'm gonna look into that. I'm not sure what that's about. So we'll look into that. And just for those that are wondering, because people ask me this all the time when I talk about tires, they are 3-peak rated snow tires, which means nothing to me because I'm from Atlanta. Well, it did snow twice last year. So anyway, what people have been talking about, and from my research, this is the this is the pattern here. So from what I've been told, these were changed a lot from the KO2s, and it was for water, right? So one of my big issues was being safe in wet weather, like rain, like we get heavy rains down here in Atlanta all the time. And that was one of my concerns. So what they're saying that they redid the tread pattern here for this little line right here. You see this line right here, like this? So if you ever get water in here, the water comes all the way out like that. So if it's easy, it helps get water out a lot easier. It keeps you safer, it keeps you more planted on the road. And this is something that was different from last year. I know the KO2s had like an S pattern in the tread, so this is the new tread pattern. Now, there's so many other design cues in here. You see right there, you have TA right there, and you have your KO3 marker between every other lug, which is also very cool. All right, now let's talk about the sizing that we went with. So First of all, these wheels are 22 by 10, -18 offset, okay? Keep that in mind. My previous tires were 33 by 12 and a half, R22s, of course. Keep that in mind, 33 by 12 and a halves. These are not. These are a 285/55. If you look right over there, I know they're very dirty. Look at that, 285/55 R22. That equates to a 34-inch tall, 34 by 4 and 11 by 2, okay? So from our previous setup, that makes us 1.5 inches taller and what, 1.5 inches smaller or thinner this way. So we're taller, but thinner, okay? So my concern was, of course, protection for these wheels. These are 10-inch wheels on an 11-inch tire, or a little bit over 11-inch tire. I think it's 11.2, like I said. So 11.2, and this is a 10-inch wheel. So it's not as much protection for the tire, but when you think about curbs, we are 1.5 inches taller. So we should have a little more protection this way than we did before. So I say it's a thicker tire, and that also probably equates why it's a smoother ride as well. So, yeah. Now, I originally wanted to put a 35 on this truck and see if it would fit, but I didn't want to chance it. Like I said, we are on a 2.5-inch level, so it may have fit, but it may not. I don't know. Anyway, I'm happy right here, though. I'm happy with the 34, and we have a beefier tire, so I love the way it looks, especially when you back up and you get the whole view of the truck. I love that look. All right, that looks incredible. So, like I said, I'm super happy with my purchase. If you're on the fence about new tires and you're considering new tires, look at the KO3s. So far, like I say, they are an amazing riding tire. They're smooth, they're quiet, and they look incredible. I love how aggressive it looks. So we are taller, but we are thinner. So if you look at the truck from this angle, I wish I had a video of my old setup so you can see how wide it is. There's a better view there. This is a little slimmer. I didn't think it would make that much of a difference, but it actually does in the look of the truck. And like I say, I'm happy with this look, especially when you look at it from the front here. You still get a good view of that tire from my setup. So you still get a little bit on the edge, but not near as much as you had before. And it works. I think it works for me. So needless to say, I love my new setup. Everything about these tires are amazing so far. The ride, the look, the feel, everything's amazing. And I love the smell of fresh new tires, y'all. I wish it would stay like that forever. But big shout out to BFGoodrich for these amazing tires. The KO3s, I highly recommend them. Look into them, all right? If you're on the fence and you think about it, you're considering looking to the KO3s. Big shout out to Discount Tire as well. Discount Tire said, we'll have you out here at 3 o'clock, and at 3:01, they were calling my name saying we're done. So big shout out to you guys. Everybody I met at Discount Tire, you guys are awesome. Now, like I said, needs to say I love everything about my new tires, but there's one issue. They don't fit. I know that makes absolutely no sense because I just did this whole video about how amazing they are. It's not the tire's fault, it's my fault, okay? And I'll get into it in the next video. I'm gonna go through the whole detail. Stay tuned. Yeah. Thanks for watching another video on the Car Keys channel. Automation crew, that's me, that's you. There's a storm brewing over there, so I'm about to go in the house. See, till next time.